Thursday. Welcome to On the Move with Nan and Kam and Jacki. And we really, good morning. We really missed you all last week. So this is great. Cam's back. Cam was in Greece. Yeah. I was in South Carolina, not as exciting, but Cam was in Greece. She just returned to us.
I was here.
Jacki was here, but she could have hosted for the week. We could have just given it over to Jacki.
Yeah.
Well, we had great trips, but we're very excited to be back. And we're joined by Jacki Quinlan today, who is our Director of Youth Programs at Sports Backers. She's been on before, friend of the pod.
Yeah.
And we're excited to have her back to talk all things All-Stars. Cam and Jacki got the memo, and I did not. They're matching in their adorable All-Stars shirts. But yeah, our All-Stars program kicked off on the 26th.
Whatever that Sunday was. I think it was
last
the
26th. Sunday of Labor Day weekend. No, Sunday before Labor Day weekend. Yes, kicked off. And it was just great. Jacki and Cam both got to meet all of our students. So Jacki, for people who are not familiar with the program, which I don't know what they're doing, have they been under a rock? What can you describe the All-Stars program for somebody who doesn't know about it or isn't familiar with it?
Sure. So All-Stars stands for Active Living Leadership. So that's where we get the all. So All-Stars essentially works with student athletes that are in their senior year of high school. And these are students that have been first nominated by an AD or a coach or a school counselor, someone at the school. This was done earlier this calendar year. So they get nominated. We take all the nominations from across the region and we narrow it down to a select group that we actually want to apply to invite. So students have to get nominated. They get invited to apply, and then they fill out their application. And essentially, we accept 20 students. That's the goal. This year, our crop of applications was so amazing that we had to just accept 21. But essentially, we work with these 21 students over the course of their senior year in a really intense and intentional way, really focused on taking their passion for sport and turning it into how to contribute to active living in our community in general, here in this community now, but also wherever they end up in the future. So really giving them that inside look into what goes into creating a vibrant and active community, and how do we help all people, not just athletes, enjoy the benefits of an active lifestyle. So they go through a series of educational sessions where we bring in experts and local leaders to teach them, first of all, what is active living? Like, most people don't use that terminology. So what are we talking about when we say that? How do businesses and the government and nonprofits all contribute to creating that type of community here in Richmond specifically? What are the inequities that exist around active living? What are the health inequities in our community? They learn about how to be an advocate. And then ultimately we start to help them think about the transition from being a high school athlete to either a college athlete or a college student that's no longer officially an athlete, but that wants to live an active lifestyle. And during all of those trainings, they're also, in between those, they're working with the support of a mentor, getting out and volunteering for active living organizations such as Sports Backers and the Y and Swim RVA and Fit for Kids and all the other great ones that are out there. And then they ultimately complete a capstone project where they, as a small group, or they work together and say, you know what, this is a community that I really want to make an impact in, whether that be seniors in our community or a specific elementary school that they're excited to help. And they complete a project that immediately benefits our community. All of that culminates in an award show where they actually earn a scholarship for all of their efforts. And then we have special scholarships like our MVP and team player awards and things like that, where kids can actually earn additional scholarships. So that is a lot, but that is the program.
You did a really good job summarizing
it. In a nutshell, I mean, there's more to it, but that's the best I can do to summarize it quickly.
Yeah. It's a very hard one to summarize. I also think because it was so successful last year, it was just, there's a lot of excitement around it that makes you want to talk more about it.
Well, and to your point, this is not just a brand new it's new. Last year was our first year of having a cohort of all-star students, but this is a new iteration of our longest standing program at Sports Backers, which was the Scholar Athlete program. And we're really excited to now get to really work with the students and get to know them, and they get to know Sports Backers and the Richmond Times-Dispatch. That's the other thing. As an all-star, they get a feature article. They get to go down to RTD and get interviewed. And so super cool experience for them to get experience working with the media.
No, that's great.
Yeah, and like you said, the Scholar Athlete program is one of the longest standing. I thought it was really cool because, like you said, I was at the orientation, and one of the mentors I asked him, I was like, what got you started? Like, what made you want to do this as a mentor? And he was like, well, I was a scholar athlete. And so I was like thinking of other ways that I wanted to give back and how I could help kids. And this is one of the ways. And I was like, that is so crazy.
Yeah.
That you were a scholar athlete and now you're the mentor of essentially the scholar athletes that are going through the program.
We've actually got, so Catherine, I don't know if you know this, but Catherine on our staff here is also a scholar athlete.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I had no idea.
Go, Catherine.
Man. She's hiding information.
I'm 99.5% sure that's true.
I
feel very positive about it.
Yeah.
But double check with her. But I am like, of course, it was before my time here.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't personally work with Catherine in that way, but I'm pretty sure. And so she sits on our committee to help us select. And so I'm taking it up to a 99.9%.
I love that. Yeah, we're going to Greece.
I'll go back downstairs. I'll ask her.
We'll get her on the horn.
Yeah. So, like I said, I was at orientation, but obviously I'm not you, and you are like putting everything together and doing everything. How did orientation go from your perspective?
It was
meeting the kids?
Awesome. It was so awesome. So the process of starting to learn about the kids starts when you get their first nomination. That was happening back in like February and March. So the build up of like,
it's like wild that you probably feel like you know so much about them, but you've never met them.
They don't know you,
yeah.
But you're like, I know you.
Yeah, I'm the one that's been emailing you all summer. Yeah. Last year's graduates and the current class were invited to come out, but that was optional, and so we didn't get to see all of them. Met a few that way, but orientation was like, okay, they're all here, and it's more, it's not as much about me meeting them, but them meeting each other. So ultimately, you know, I don't see them as much as they will see each other because they're going to work in their small crews with their mentors. And so that day, I think one of the highlights for me at orientation is getting them assigned into their crews. And we do that in a really fun way. And so them sort of the mystery of like, who am I going to be working with? And we intentionally put them with students. We have a couple of schools that have more than one kid here in the program, and we make sure that they're not in a crew with other students from their school because we really want them to meet other people, kids that play other sports, kids that are in different school districts, or mixing private schools and public schools. And so starting to make those connections is super cool. And it's one of the things we heard from the kids the most. Like that's one of their favorite parts of the program last year was like getting to meet other local scholar athletes that had similar goals and mindsets, but then also like a very different perspective and a different lived experience. And so I think that's a really unique opportunity for a lot of high schoolers. But also sets them up for what's about to happen in college anyway. So,
totally.
So orientation was really cool from that aspect. Also, our team of mentors was here. They're fantastic. Like I feel like amazing about the mentors. They're just an awesome group of local leaders that are just all in for helping these kids. And so that was super cool to get to see them and see them connecting with the kids. And so that was probably my favorite part.
Yeah. How many mentors are there?
There's 5 and then 1 mentor lead. So Jacki Stoneburner was one of our mentors last year. And so since she has that sort of experience and she brings a lot of like financial aid and college application process expertise. So I actually asked her this year to serve as a mentor lead and really support the other mentors and contribute in other ways, helping individual students that may need that higher level of financial aid support than I personally have the expertise to give. So 6, I would say.
Okay.
We include Jacki, which we certainly do.
Yeah. I thought it was cool, like getting to see, because again, I was at the orientation last year, and then I interviewed a few of the kids at the end, and then I saw like their projects that you showed us, and I was just like looking at the kids this year, and I was like, y'all don't know each other, and like it's kind of awkward now, but at the end of last year, like they were all friends.
Like they were
really
good friends,
like actually friends. And I was like, y'all don't know that y'all are about to be friends with each other. But y'all are just sitting here. But I know you're about to be friends with each other. Yeah, it was cool. It was just like a little.
So I actually just got a text from our program, one of our program MVPs from last year, Ellie. Texted me yesterday evening. I was out for a walk, and it's a picture of her and Liam. They didn't go to the same high school, but they're in the same college, and they had met up and were playing pickleball. So I'm like,
so friends for life.
Point. Like I'm like, So the relationships that they build with us, like the fact that I've got, you know, a kid from last year is still in touch with me, multiple kids that I'm still in touch with, and then those connections that they made with each other is huge. Now we're in a position where like you're starting to meet the new class and find out where they want to go. And you're like, oh, well, if you want to talk to someone about the, scholarship application process at UVA, you can hit up Jalen, who's at UVA. And, so like making those connections is really cool. And figuring out the alumni engagement piece of it all is like sort of our next task, I'd say, with the program. Right. So super cool.
What was obviously you said the program changed a lot from the previous years, from when it was just when we referred to it as the Scholar Athlete program. So what was your favorite part of the program last year overall, and what are you most looking forward to this year? Now that, I feel like last year we all were kind of, seeing like, is this going to work? What's this going to be like? Yeah. It was a big learning year, and it went really well. But you definitely in your first year, I feel like you probably learned some stuff that you're like, this was great, this was not, or ways you want to do things. So what do you feel like was the best part, and then what are you looking forward to?
I think last year, the part that stands out to me probably is last year's orientation, just because it was so nerve-wracking to revamp a program that had been around for so long. And I'm like, did I do the right thing? Did I make, how is this going to go? You just don't know. And that first day last year, as soon as the kids started interacting with each other and we were all just having great conversations, I'm like, I just knew, I'm like, this was it. This was the right thing. Like, we did the right thing. So that was a real aha moment for me. I would say outside of that, we did a couple of socials, and that was just a great opportunity. I love doing the work and actually like teaching them, but it's also nice to just get to be with them and get to know them as people. And so one in particular, after one of the sessions, we went bowling, and they were just having so much fun. Yeah. It was so fun to see, these kids are amazing athletes.
Let's not
forget that.
Because I looked some of them up, and I'm like, what the freak? Like, who are these superhero kids?
They're
good.
They're amazing athletes. They're amazing students. They're all like contributing to their schools through extracurriculars or involved in our community in some way. They're amazing students. But then just to see them get to just be regular kids and just enjoy bowling together, it was so much fun. So I think the socials, and they really love that opportunity too. I think like, we might take it for granted, but how many unstructured times do students like that really have when it's constantly like practice, game, exam, work, all the things, all the clubs. It's just a lot. And so just to be like, let's just have some fun, eat some wings and play some, bowling, which I was really bad at, but they gave me a pass. So this year, I would say what I'm most looking forward to is the capstone projects. Mm-hmm. After going through it last year and seeing the end result, I'm so excited to see what this group of kids comes up with. Yeah. So they really lead that effort. They have the support of their mentor. And of course, I support them as much as I can. Williams-Mullen sponsors it. And so they've got a little bit of money that they can play with to help carry out their projects. But it's their idea. It's their job to plan it, to meet with the people at whatever organization they're working with. If they need volunteers, they have to lead that recruitment effort. If they need to order materials, so it's really student led, which is pretty incredible when you think about 17 and 18-year-old kids pulling off a project of the magnitudes that they were doing last year. And so I'm really interested in seeing what this group comes up with. And ultimately, having 5 projects happen in the spring, it's pretty powerful. It's pretty powerful for our community. So I think that's probably what I'm most looking forward to. That and the award show, because that was pretty amazing. So it's a lot of fun.
The award show was great. I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. And I know that was a different format than we've had previous years, because we used to have a dinner and then, but I just thought it was so true to the kids and the relationships that they'd formed and how they, how excited they were about the work they were doing. And it felt like an award show. It was great. I loved it. I thought it was definitely much more celebratory, but had the right mix of casual and formal. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it was great. It was fun.
That I feel like that's going to be another blast of a day. Yeah. So
Another cool thing about the program is that they get the opportunity to volunteer during some of our events. Yeah. And so seeing them, I feel like I saw a couple of people out at the marathon. Maybe.
Yeah. So one of the students last year, she actually recruited her tennis team to come out and help manage one of the junk food stops. Yeah. And so we had kids working at 1619 last year, the 1619 event, course marshaling, and I was out there walking. So that was so cool to get to see them out doing their thing. One of my favorites was one of the students that volunteered at a swim meet, a master's swim meet at Swim RVA. And he was mostly responsible for timing. And I also happened to be volunteering that day. And just watching him like go above and beyond to like help this elderly lady in and out of the pool, and like just seeing what a mind shift for a kid to be like, wow, like this lady's swimming at the whatever age she was at, so it is our events, but they're also out, volunteering for other organizations, and it's really eye-opening. That's the challenge for them, is a lot of them already volunteer, but we ask them to like volunteer with a group that you've never volunteered with before. Right. And it needs to be related to active living in some way. And so they're all experiencing something new. Yeah. Sometimes their takeaways, though, because they do have to report on this, like their takeaways are hilarious sometimes. So we ask them like, what did you do while volunteering? Like in the little form they fill out, and what were your biggest takeaways? And like for the marathon in particular, the big takeaways were like, it was really cold.
Hey, sometimes that's my takeaway from working it.
Like, it was really cold, but everyone was still really happy. So
that's what they
they're out there doing it.
Yeah, just because like at the orientation, I was like, nobody's on their phones.
No.
And anytime I was ever around them, like at any of their meetings, like they're not on their phones. They're not like talking when they're not supposed to. They're engaged. They're really good at their sport. They're really smart. Tell us more about the kids that are like chosen for this program overall.
Yeah. Before I even get into that, to your point, like I came into this last year thinking, I've worked with kids my whole life. And so I'm like, I was ready.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sitting there thinking like, they're going to be on their phones. I got to make sure, I don't know what I'm going to do if I have to break up fights. Like, I mean, like my mind goes like, I'm working with kids, so you never know. And after orientation, I was like, oh, this group of kids.
Never,
this is
like
mini
never.
like,
Yeah.
really awesome.
When I did the interviews with them last year, and I was like, y'all are smarter than me. Like, you're smarter than me, and you're in 12th grade. Like, what is happening right now? But I was like, I'm just...
Yeah, so the kids are, when we go through the selection process, we're looking at, really it's 4 things. It's their academics, their athletic accolades, their extracurricular and like community involvement, and then we do consider need as well. And so you are getting and you're picking 20, or you end up with 21 kids from across the region. So, you're really like, not even every high school is represented. No. So you're getting just amazing students. And they all really care about their sport and their team and their community. I think that like that community piece is what's maybe a little bit different. Because I think sometimes it's more like students do it because they have to and put it on college, but you feel like these kids, if you're going to commit to a program like this, where you're going to be like spending your Sundays, you're doing volunteering, like it's a big commitment too. I mean, it's a big opportunity for them, but it's also a big commitment. So they're amazing. We only had one student who couldn't attend orientation. She got permission to not attend orientation, and I couldn't have thought of a better reason to miss. And that's because she was literally in Canada at the like world championships for rowing. And back to your point about like
USA,
they're smarter than me. I'm like, I don't even know what it's called, but
no,
she's out representing the US, in Canada, and had to leave that Sunday during orientation after competing and get back in time for school to start the next day.
Yeah.
These kids are just all around. There's a few that are like honed in on one sport, but most of them are multi-sport athletes and really good at most of the sports, like really good in multiple sports. Like, I don't know how that's possible, but they're amazing kids.
Yeah.
Really
even
amazing.
When you were saying about being at orientation when we did it the first year, and I wasn't there this year, but like same thing. It was just, you'll come into a room of adults sometimes and like meet people and everybody's like clammed up. Like nobody wants to interact or talk or like look each other in the eye. And I remember we came in here and like they immediately were like asking us like very engaging questions. And you were just like, you're in high school? Like this is crazy.
Like, it was crazy. Even with the kids this year, like when I was interviewing them, I was like,
we have to be really intentional about those sessions that we plan. Like, these are kids that want to engage. And so we have, at our next session, we'll have a panel of local leaders come in. And we did this last year as well, but we made sure that we flipped the panel in a way that, so it wasn't just all the panelists speaking at the kids, but that they had a chance to speak, but then they paused and then the kids came back with their questions and their input. Like really spent some time doing that because the kids have so much to say and they have so much to engage with. Like, like they're ready to engage with this content and learn and do. And so, you have to be really intentional when you're planning these sessions. You can't just preach at these kids.
No.
Yeah.
Like you really can't.
Because they
like,
want to do something.
Yeah. They want to engage with it, and they want to share what they know, and they want to have conversation about it. And so that's super cool. And I think we did a really good job of it last year, but based on their feedback, like we've got ideas to make it even better this year. And so really making sure that each of our sessions is super engaging. They can really get their hands in with the content beyond going out and volunteering too. Yeah. So it's amazing to get to work with the students that we have. I feel very, very fortunate, and I can't wait for the year to really get to know them, you know, as we go through this year together. It's a little jealous of the mentors. They get to see them more often than I do.
Yeah.
You know?
It's okay.
Yeah.
What's their next session about?
So our next session is called Active Living 101. That's where we'll have a representative from government, business, and nonprofit sectors, sharing how all of those sectors come together to create an active, vibrant community here in Richmond. So it's really at the orientation, you can do surface level, like what is active living and what contributes to it. But then we started to take a deep dive, like what does it mean to create policies? What does it mean to build a fall line trail? Like how do you actually go about getting this work done? How does a nonprofit like Adam Kennedy from Swim RVA is one of the panelists, and so that comes to mind, like all that they do to create a drown-proof Richmond, you know, like going out and teaching kids how to swim. That's, you know, like, do people even know about that? Like, you know, like that's amazing work that's being done in Richmond. And so helping to expose them to like specific examples like that, but more broader concepts about all the things that it takes for a community to be, you know, a community that's out moving and able to do so in a safe way. So that's our next session.
Yeah. And how many times do they, just for people to know, how many times do they meet?
So for sessions, they meet 5 times. So there's 5 all together sessions. But then they meet with their crew 5 times as well. So outside of the big meetings, they're meeting with their mentor and their small group. So they're getting together in their small crews more frequently, but 5 times overall as the large group. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Always on Sundays because these kids are busy.
So, I know. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. I think also just thinking like the enthusiasm they show for it. Also, when you think they're already involved in so many things.
Yeah, they are.
And then none of them treat it like this is something else that I like added to the calendar. Like it is, you would think that this was their absolute like top priority when they're like attending stuff, I feel like. So, yeah.
And that's what a couple of them said that when I did the like end of the year interviews trying to like make a video for the next cohort of kids, a couple of them were like, I know it just sounds like it's a boring little thing that you're going to sit there and you're going to learn and it's going to be boring and who cares. But they were like, it's not. It's like you're interacting with people your own age and you actually get to do stuff. It's not a waste of time in your busy schedule. Like it's actually something fun to do.
Well, it's a really unique opportunity too. Like there isn't, that we know of, there's no other program like this in the U.S., much less like something that the kids in our region would have been exposed to. And so certainly they have clubs at school and they're part of their sports, but this type of leadership program, especially one that's also tied to a scholarship, like it just doesn't exist. And so it's a really cool opportunity for kids to not have to just throw their name in a hat and be selected, but like actually earn a scholarship, you know, and know that they've done something to earn their way through college. And that, I think that means a lot to a lot of our students, particularly ones that know that they need, you know, financial assistance to be able to go to college, to know like, I'm going to do something to earn this money that's going to help me and my family. And so I think that's a pretty powerful motivator as well, for sure.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I feel like that younger generations, they always get, you know, hated on a little bit, but you hang out with these kids and you're like, future might be in good hands.
Yeah, the future is safe. The future is safe.
You feel good about it. There's lots of good kids.
Yeah. It's not just really the online ones who are like terrible. But
there are some great students, and we do have the cream of the crop that we're working with. So yeah, it's awesome.
Now I know it's a little late for people to be like a mentor or something like that, but if people are hearing about this for the first time and they're like, oh, I would love to be involved somehow, like how can they get involved with this?
Yeah, well, first, if there's folks that have may be able to contribute like in terms of content, so like the sessions that we do, like being a part of our panel, or when we talk about active living inequities, contributing. So if there's people that have expertise in a particular area that they think the kids could learn from, being able to reach out to me and let Jacki at sportsbackers.org, it's just Jacki at sportsbackers.org, is great, just to make those connections. Because certainly with each of these sessions, like, you know, we're curating each session each year. It's not like run of the mill. We'll have different panelists this year than we did last year. And so at the last session, I know you were part of helping plan. It's really bringing in former scholar athletes or former student athletes, collegiate athletes. So folks that may be able to contribute in that way, reaching out so that we can get them involved. Certainly donating to the program, like these at the end of this, like one, it costs money to run a program like this, but also we give out over $70,000 in scholarships. And so contributing to the program financially ultimately is one of the biggest ways that you can support. So for folks that have the ability to help in that way, I think that's a awesome opportunity to support the All-Stars. And then for folks that may like have volunteer opportunities that they think would be relevant for our students, reaching out, because I do maintain a list of volunteer opportunities that our kids may be interested in so that they don't have to go find their own. So reaching out with those type of opportunities, or if they have capstone project ideas, if they're interested in sponsoring the program. Like I said, Williams-Mullen sponsors a very specific part of the program so that the kids have funding to be able to do the capstone project. So any of those are just top of mind opportunities that anyone can get involved. And we will go through next spring, summer, we'll be recruiting a couple new mentors. And so certainly just reaching out if you are interested. Right now we're good on mentors, but we'll grow in the future and need to add more to the team. So that was a lot of ways to help.
No, that is. I was thinking it might be too late. It's not too late.
It's
You got
never
plenty
too
of ways
late.
that you can help out. Well, thanks for being back on. This is
Thank
great.
you.
And we're very excited. We both love helping out with All Stars. So I've already got my brain turning on people for my panel for this year. So I'm excited about it. And now, we have some this or that questions for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I think I bombed on this last time.
No, you didn't. We took, for the first two, we're taking it back to when Jackie was in high school. Maybe. Yeah. And then the last one was a Cam thought about
you now.
Yeah.
Jackie now.
Jackie now.
Yeah.
You can start it.
Okay. Again, taking it back to when you were in high school.
It's a long time ago.
That's okay. They had these things like that.
You think?
They had them. Did you prefer going to prom or to homecoming?
Ooh. I helped plan proms. I think I was always
not surprising.
No, I was gonna say not surprising.
I was like always in the class, off. I think I was always more excited about prom, even though it was more work, but that was what we were responsible for. I think the SCA did homecoming and we did prom or something. Mm-hmm. So I think I was always more excited to see all of that come to fruition. And I just feel like that was the more I don't know, the more you got more fancy.
It was
definitely.
Yeah, and I like that. I like a chance to get dressed up and look my best. And so prom.
Yeah. There's some high school cliche about prom that is true. So,
How many times did you go to prom?
I think I went twice. Did I go my sophomore year? I don't know. I think I might have gone my sophomore year, actually, because I did date a guy that was a year older than me. So probably went.
I went,
3 times.
Probably went 3 times. I think I went 3 times, but I only planned junior and senior. So I remember planning 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember the themes of the ones that you planned?
I knew you were going to ask that. I want to say one was Under the Stars.
Okay.
That's where my mind goes on one of them.
I think that's what my senior year was.
Yeah. I feel like that sounds kind of familiar to me, too.
Yeah.
But I don't remember beyond that, and I could even have that one wrong. I'm just picturing the picture that I have with my boyfriend at the time. Right. His arms are wrapped around me, and I'm pretty sure it was a starry night.
Okay.
Because you took the actual prom pictures.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We didn't get we did them outside our house or wherever we didn't do them.
We had a backdrop still too.
Hard copies.
No, I did not.
Girl.
We didn't have. Well, we have hard copies because we used digital cameras, and film. But they didn't give it to us at the school.
No, yeah, I look at my aunts and my mom's, because my mom only went, I think, one time because she was not girly at all. She did not want to go. Y'all went crazy. But I love that they have the actual pictures. That's it was all right, your turn, take a picture. I love that.
Well, we also did after prom our senior year. We didn't pull it off our junior year. I can't remember what happened. We didn't have it, so it was a really big deal for us to bring it back for our senior year. And that was more fun than anything. I mean, that is we had inflatables in the gym. You stayed overnight. It's like a lock-in.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're just partying it up.
Bird would have never did that.
Oh, it was so much fun.
We had nice raffle item, local businesses donated to our after party, because all of ours they would have fake casino games set up to win the prizes or tickets for your raffle prizes. It was wild. I won a nice sterling silver bracelet one year for some local business. Yeah, it was at JMU. Wow. So yeah, we got to it was awesome.
Yeah, mine was up the street from my house. It was annoying.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was at this big. It was a huge church, but it was like literally in my neighborhood, and I was like,
oh yeah, doesn't make it quite as
wearing this
special.
shirt, whatever.
It is wild to me that people's proms are like not at school now because like they're
Ours
at
never
other.
was.
Oh
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
Mine
no.
was. We rolled that gym or cafeteria.
Oh,
Cafeteria.
Our homecoming was
Yeah,
at
Ours was at
school.
VCU. We were in like
Oh,
yeah. We were at
That's
VCU,
cool.
Like bar in there. I don't know. I don't remember exactly.
It's
where it
weird
was,
that we did our after prom at JMU, but then we did
Yeah.
all the other like things. I liked homecoming though because I also liked homecoming football game. I liked the whole
I like
That's
the
true.
nostalgia
vibe. Yeah,
of
the
like
vibe
the
is, like,
football game and
different.
getting excited for little
Yeah.
like pep rally, all that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff is fun.
Yeah.
I was
Take
our
us
like
back.
one of our school mascots, so I was all in on. the
Ooh,
homecoming
whoa!
fun.
You were
Wait,
busy.
You were the mascot?
Well, so we were the Lancers, and so to make it like I guess gender equal, we had a Lancer and a Lancette, and I was the Lancette.
Oh.
Again, not surprised.
Yeah.
So
You were one of
definitely-
these kids.
Yeah.
You were involved in every
In
single
literally
way. Yeah.
everything. She was an all-star.
not to the level that they were
Still
for
is.
sure.
Yeah.
Still is.
This is kind of in the same vein, but we got on Friday night. Ideally, as a student, you preferring to have a Friday night home football game or basketball game?
I was definitely more into football.
Okay, I
Yeah.
feel like that's more of an event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not to say I never went to basketball games, but yeah, I was definitely more football. It just was so much more fun.
Yeah.
I just love being outside. So
Oh yeah,
just the
Yeah.
being outside part. For
I
me.
love the football game.
Yeah,
me too.
I don't the vibe just at night outside.
yeah.
But
I
I cheered for basketball, so I was there.
Gotcha.
But I still liked watching football better.
Yeah, we had bonfires sometimes. I don't remember what games they were at, but we did at least once or twice. I remember having bonfires after
Yeah.
football games. I did powder puff my senior
Okay.
year,
Me too.
and so like
I did that.
like all of that to me is all part of like the football fun. And
We'd
so,
grill out
yeah.
in the parking lot or
Oh,
something too.
no, we did not do that.
Yeah, we would grill. It'd be like when John Regan has that little tiny grill. It was us in the parking lot with hot dogs. My dad loves high school football so much, guys, that in retired life he just bops around Richmond and goes
I
to
love
all
that.
the different ones.
I love that for him.
I
He loves
that's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
This is
okay.
the one from your now life
This is
that
now
kind of
life.
relates back to high school.
Fast forward. Yeah.
Okay.
So Jackie has a daughter. Her name's Cassidy, and she's a cheerleader. Do you prefer watching her cheer competition or sideline cheerleading?
competition for sure.
That's what I thought. 'Cause again, with the culture, like it's like a whole thing.
Also, that's like
It
professional
is.
status.
It is.
Yeah.
And so, like, when she first wanted to be a cheerleader, I was against it. Like, in my mind, I'm like, I always ran cross country and track. And so I'm like, I just had a bias about like what I thought cheerleaders were. And so I'm like, I don't want my kid to be on the sideline cheering for the boys that are actually doing the sport. Like,
Yeah.
that's wow.
Yeah.
Like, and then I
That's
learned,
wild.
I didn't even know about comp cheer. And so once I learned about that, I'm like, oh, you can do that. Like, these girls are athletes.
Yeah.
Sideline cheer, those girls are athletes too. Like, I've learned a lot about it now. But that was like my vision coming into it was
Right.
like, we're not doing sideline. If you're going to do it, we're going to do like the harder,
sport,
like this more
yeah.
sport version. We have fun with sideline though. I mean, it's fun. Like, she's out there and I go to the games. I love it, but there's nothing like the comp. Like, it's different. I mean, you're actually performing a routine. They've got stunts. They're scoring, and so it's totally different than trying to rile up a crowd and get the football team going. So comp is the way to go. But this girl this year alone, we just got our comp schedule for Fame, and she is like, well, of course there's like local like Richmond and DC and Fredericksburg and all of that, but going to Columbus, Ohio, Myrtle Beach, New Orleans.
Ooh, lucky.
And now the New Orleans one, I'm like, that's awesome.
I'm chaperoning that. Yeah.
And then if they make it to Summit, they'll go to Florida too. So this girl, so that's part of the fun with comp too, is that you get to travel and,
Right.
it's just such an experience. So
Yeah.
definitely comp, but sideline's fun too. We're living it right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because then you get the whole vibe of the football game.
It is.
So,
It's fun. I love all of it. I love her being involved in her school. So,
The
definitely
school,
cool.
she goes where you went, right?
She does.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. That's
Yeah,
fun.
same exact building,
Wow.
same track. She's just doing different things on the track than I was doing on the
Yeah.
track.
Yeah.
You were right.
Did you go to the same high school as your
No.
parents? I went to the same high school as my dad.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't. My parents are both from Richmond.
Okay.
So my dad also went to Manchester, but he went to like the old Manchester. So it's same school, but not the same school building.
That was the
Yeah.
exact same. I went to
Yeah.
my dad's high school for 1 year, and then we
Okay.
got a new high school, and so, but yeah. So,
Gotcha.
Same. But it was fun to go for 1 year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know if she thinks it's cool, but I think it's cool. I'm like, you're
Yeah.
walking the
It
same
is
hallways
cool.
that I did.
It's super
It's
cool.
cute, yeah.
Yeah.
Her dad also went there, so she was going to the
That's
same high school
awesome.
that both
That's
of us
cute.
went to. So
Yeah. What was your high school mascot?
Skyhawk.
Okay.
Bird.
Mine was a blue
That's
streak,
right.
which people always make fun of because it's
that?
a blue lightning bolt.
Oh, okay. Go Blue Streaks.
Yeah, I think Cass is going. There's a Bird Thomas Dale game this Friday, and this is their bye week. That's gonna be a game. That's why she's going. She's like, I gotta be at this one.
Are you kidding me?
You might be there.
Yeah, now that I know, I did not know. I need to stay real loose.
As soon as she said Scarlet, I'm like, oh, such a thing.
Yeah, it literally is.
Everybody's got that one other rival
It's called
school.
the Battle of Chester is what it's called. Yeah. We'll see. I don't know how Bird is anymore. We used to when I
like
went
the
there,
Battle of Chester.
Well,
that's good.
All I know is that last year we played Dale. Manchester played Dale at some. I don't remember if it was like district at playoffs, right? So like I don't think Bird was in playoffs, but I could be wrong. But
when I was in high school, we won the state championship every year. But then every time I see them on the news, I'm like, what are they doing?
Yes,
So
I don't know. Last year, I think Dale was. I'm pretty sure Dale was because they were giving us a run for our money. But
yeah, because Manchester, it was like us, and then after we stopped like winning everything, Manchester started winning everything. Yeah,
we lost a lot of seniors though. So this year, so our first game was last week, and it was against Highland Springs, and it was a home game, and it was rough. It was rough, but it's always tough with Highland Springs, but. This year was like, it was tough. It was tough. It was a hard game to watch, but I still have faith that Manchester's going to come through and have an awesome season and beat Bird and beat Dale.
Oh, Battle of Chester. Will tell me all I need to know. If I go there and I'm like, oh, what are these?
Well, we have the whole like L for L, Lancers for life. So like, I mean, my daughter cheers there. I went there. What do you think?
Lancer Legacy.
Yeah. Lancer Legacy.
So I'm still Lancers all day.
Okay. Shout out to Lancers, I guess.
Love it. We went right back to high school for this. I love it. It's great.
Take us back.
Well, thanks again, Jackie. This is great. And we can't wait to see all the stuff that the All-Stars do this year. And y'all keep up to date with everything with the All-Stars on our social media at Sportsbackers on Instagram is probably where Cam will post most of it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.